There you go. We are now live. So let me just go ahead and copy paste this message into a channel so I can get a few people into the stream. So today, our goal is to, like the description of this video talks about, the goal is to improve some performance issues that I'm running into. So, the main issue that I'm running into is with my Professor platform. So the Professor platform is an application that I use to host courses. So I have courses that I offer. And this is sort of the homepage of the professo.com website, although I have it running locally on my local host. So this is just a local dev version of the application. And yeah, so this local host version, the issue that I'm running into is very noticeable when I load this front page. So when I hit refresh to load up this home page, there's a long time that goes by before you can actually see that the page refreshes. There, finally refreshed. So that was what, maybe like 7 seconds? And in the world of the internet, that is an eternity. And if you look into why this is happening, let me go ahead and hit clear console and let me hit refresh again. Look what happens in the console. It's a constant flood of select statements that are going down. So, and look at them all. This is just a ridiculous number of select statements. So if you are at all knowledgeable with respect to databases and working with a database from a server, like a Java server, this is not good. Every time you have to go back and forth, every single select statement represents one trip that I have to make from my Java server through Hibernate over to the database. Database has to get the information and send it back through that same pipeline back to the Java server. And we're doing that, I don't even know how many times, right? So much that I don't know if it fits inside of my console output here. So yeah, that's the problem. That's a big time performance issue. In the real world, when we're not running it locally, and the trips between the application and the database are not nearly as costly, it gets pretty it's pretty fast. But here it's on localhost, it's very noticeable. So the trick here, I just saw someone ask me to increase the font size. That's pretty much the maximum I'll go for the code itself. I wouldn't worry so much about this font right here. It's more so the code here that you need to be interested in. And of course now my Spring Tool Suite IDE is hanging. So yeah, that's what we're going to be fixing today. We're going to be looking at how this is happening. So the first step is, well, let's go through the steps. What are the steps that happen when you land on the front page, right? When you load up the root URL. So when you send a request, you go and you click refresh. It sends a request to the base URL, like the root URL. So we need to look for a controller, because we're talking about we're talking about web applications. Web applications have controllers that listen for HTTP requests. So when you load a website, you're sending an HTTP request. So there is some code somewhere in this mess of code that is listening for someone hitting the root of the website. And if it goes and hits the root of the website and it sees that it's happening, it'll redirect to execute some Java code. So we define that Java code, and we need to figure out where all this mess is starting. So in the world in the real world, we have something called a web package. This font might be hard for you to read if you're on like a mobile phone or something. I'd recommend switching, if you're on a mobile phone, to a bigger device, because coding or learning how to code on a mobile device is tough. So you have a web package, which typically contains all your controllers, these things that I was talking about. So I'm going to have to take a guess as to where this code is. Now I wrote this code, but this was a long time ago that I wrote it, so I do not remember. I do not remember where this code lies. So let me think. If I were me 5 years ago, where would I put this? Course controller, potentially course controller. I would say more of an offer. Yeah, offer controller. That's my guess. No, so this guy starts with request mapping at the class level. So what this class level request mapping does is it automatically says anything below here, any other methods that have other request mappings must have this prepended. In other words, it's /teachers/offers is the endpoint. So that's not what we're looking for. We're looking at just a /. So maybe I'll do a search. I'll do a search for, I'll click on search file, and I will search for open bracket quote /. Maybe that will get a hit. In the web package, oh boy, there's lots. So I need more. I need a closing quote as well, because that's going to find all the ones that open. So we just want the root. So let's try that. In the web, okay, here we go. Course controller. Yeah, that's it right here, course controller. So it was the course controller. Cool. So yeah, it looks like it. So course controller request mapping with just a / means it will hit this code when we load that page. Now let's prove it. Let's put a breakpoint in here. I'll double click on line 54 and let me reboot my server in debug mode. So I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go to the little debug drop down. I had previously run the Professor Core application is what this is called. So that's why it's available here. I'll click on it to run or restart the server in debug mode. Here we go. So once the server boots up, I'm going to refresh that home page and hopefully it will hit this breakpoint so that we can prove that we're in the right spot, right? So, okay, refresh. And it looks like I hit that breakpoint. Yes. So now I'm paused at that breakpoint. So I'm in the right spot. So now let's take a look and see where all of these queries are happening. So I'll hit F6, which is the step over icon. F6 goes and steps over one at a time. So, boom, find all active offers. So let me clear the screen here and see how bad this particular, because remember, we're trying to solve the problem of errant queries here. A lot of queries that are happening, lots of queries back to back to back to back. So I want to figure out where all those select statements are coming from because that's slowing down our performance. So if I hit F6 on this line, how many resulting select statements happen? So as you can see in the output, there's only one select statement. That's not so bad. One line, one select, fair enough. What about this guy? Let me hit F6 on this guy. And lo and behold, that looks like a lot of select statements. So it seems like we found the root of our issue. Something special is happening inside of this method. So let's dive into this get offers rating method. And we will see that, here we go. This is, whoops, let me go back in. So it's iterating through offers and getting data from, so definitely in here, the problems are happening. So let's hit a breakpoint in there. Let's put a breakpoint in there and let's hit play on our existing code. So it just goes through. And then we'll come back and refresh the page again. So we're going to refresh the page, and this is going to hit our breakpoint. So we're going to get rid of that first breakpoint because that's not where the problem is coming from. We've sort of isolated the problem to be inside of the get offers ratings method. Let's hit go. So as you can see, a bunch of select statements have already happened. So how did that happen? How did I miss? That must be old, I'm assuming. I think those are old select statements. So now if I F6 through here, we can see sort of where the select statements are coming from. So that one, essentially getting the reviews for the offers. So each of these offers that you see, each sort of square here is called an offer, and there are reviews, right? So I need to be able to calculate what the reviews, the average star ratings are and to show how many ratings there are on the screen. So it has to parse through all this data. And in order to do that, it's essentially doing it in not an optimal way. Okay, so it has to select a bunch of reviews, and then anything else, any other bad? No, this is just us calculating what the rating and reviews are. And then here, same deal, it's going to hit a bunch of reviews. So this is essentially where all the select statements are coming from, trying to get reviews. Okay, so that's the root of the problem. We're iterating through each offer, and for each offer, we are grabbing the corresponding reviews. So here's where usually you can solve the problem, is with the object here, the offers list, which contains a list of offer objects. Again, an offer is just a course and how much the course costs, among other things, but that's what an offer is. So the offer, when we load it here into this list, we might be able to also, with a better select statement, load all of the corresponding reviews for that offer as well. So in order to figure that out, in order to see how can we, at the time that we get this list of offers, how can we also load all the reviews so that we don't have to have this mess of select statements, right? How do we load it all at the same time in one select statement? Okay, so in order to figure that out, we need to see, well, where does this list of offers get populated? Okay, so well, we saw it, the code had come in. We actually, in a breakpoint, we can cheat a little bit because we can sort of see where in our stack here where we came from, or maybe not. It's not overly helpful. No, I can't immediately look at that and say, oh, here's where the code came from. So I need to go back to my, where was I? Course controller. Yeah, that was the root. Let me go back to my breakpoint. I deleted my other breakpoint. Okay. So what you can do here is you can search for what methods call this method. So I select this method and I can say Control-Shift-G, and that will find all of the other methods that call this one. So we can expand that, and I can see, oh, there's only one. It's right here. So, well, it should be actually more than one, but it's one method that has several spots where it calls the other method. So this is where the calls come from, and it has this all offers, which comes from offer repository.find all active offers. So here is where the magic can happen. Okay, so there's a reason why I picked this particular use case, this particular example, as something to live stream and try to fix. One, because yes, it's a production issue. I need to improve the performance. But two, this is very common. This is common for coders. I made this mistake, obviously. This is my code. I have no one else to blame but myself. I wrote this code and I introduced this performance issue. So this is very common. And to solve it, we need to do exactly what I said, which is don't just load the offers, also load the corresponding data along with the offer. Now, maybe it's easy to say. Maybe there's some reason why I didn't do it. We're going to find out. So let's go into this find all active offers, open the implementation, and have a look at the code. Okay, so this is very simple code. Okay, seems totally doable to fix. I would love to just modify this select statement that we have here to include a join to the reviews or ratings or whatever we call them. But I want to also see what else, what other places call this particular method, this particular find all active offers method. Because I'm going to be changing it, I want to make sure I don't break other code, right? So I'm going to do another Control-Shift-G. Okay, you guys are asking me to increase the font size. The font size is already really big, guys. It's already at 14 font. I'll put it at 16, but that's going to really hinder my ability to see all the code. That's as high as I'm willing to go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this on mobile phones, please don't watch this on mobile phones. So, Control-Shift-G to see what else calls it. Oh, good. So it's only being called from one place, this root path call here. So, phew. At least that's one spot. Now, okay. Oh, and here. Okay, there we go. Those two spots call it. I was like, oh no, is it just the one? I'm looking at this code and I'm saying, why is this code here? This if not professo is subdomain. So if the subdomain is not professo and not localhost. Okay, so this is some other code. This code is not important for this particular example. Anyway, both of these things, these two blocks of code here, they both will do the same thing. So modifying this is not going to break anything else. So that's just what I wanted to make sure of. Let's go in and change this select statement. So changing the select statement now, let's add a new line. And I essentially want to add a join, right? And there's actually another word that we're going to use here, but if you're familiar with SQL, join should make sense to you. I'm actually going to do something called a left join, and I'll explain why in a minute. And I'm going to left join the ratings or reviews or whatever it is that's associated with an offer. But before I can do that, I need to know what it's called. So let me go into the offer object. So this is the offer entity, if you're familiar with Hibernate and entities and JPA. This class, this Java class called offer, represents a database table. Okay, specifically a table named offer, which houses all the information about all these different offers. You know, this course for $27, this course for $97 a month, this course for $197. These are all different offers. Okay, so this class represents the database table called offer. Okay, so great, but I want to see how does the offer database table relate to the other data that we're trying to get, which is the where was it? The one that causes the problem. This is the root of our problems is coming from get offer ratings and right here. So offer.getCourses.stream. So we're streaming the courses. Streaming here, if you're not familiar with what streaming is in Java, this is really just a fancy for loop. It's looping through every single one of the courses and doing something. So it's getting the courses, and then from the courses, we're getting the reviews. So it looks like it's a two-step process. We're first offer get courses, and then we're also joining a course to a review, I think. So let me check out the course and see if there's a... Well, first let me check offer, make sure I can get courses. Here it is. Offer courses. Okay. And then within a course, if I go into this guy and say open, course has reviews, I assume, somewhere. Show me reviews. Beautiful. So it's a two-step process. So it's slightly more complex than I was hoping for, but hey, that's not too big of a deal, I don't think. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to go from an offer. Offer joins to course, and course joins to review. So let's left join to a course, or courses. Is it courses or course? If you look at the offer object, which is right over here, the offer object defines a variable called courses. So you need to use this name. This is the variable name, and that is what matters when you're building out these. They're not actually SQL statements. They're a special flavor. They're a JPQL, Java Persistence Querying Language. Cool. Sorry, I was just reading some chat. Someone's saying that they got a lot of value out of my data structures videos. That's cool. Always happy to see and hear from returning students. So here's the select statement. Again, this is not full-on regular old SQL. This is JPQL, Java Persistence Querying Language. Similar to SQL, but it's more, I guess, object focused. So you can use this kind of dot notation. O dot courses is essentially saying offer dot courses. In other words, offer dot get the courses. So I can get the courses, and I can call this something. I can assign an alias to this, like C, right? C represents the courses. And then I can do another left join to courses, C, dot, I think it was called reviews, right? So if we go to the course the course domain object. In here, this is the course class, which represents the course database table. Okay, that's the thing that underlies the offer. These are all offers, but for example, if I click on Coders Campus as an offer, oh, I think I'm paused in a breakpoint right now. Hold on, let me hit play on my breakpoint so I don't get stuck. Is that going to work? Let me disable my breakpoints. There. So for example, Coders Campus is made up of, so the offer of Coders Campus at $97 a month is made up of several courses, right? The JavaScript super course, the Java super course, the databases and SQL course, the Selenium course, the Spring Security, the course creation, course. There are tons of courses inside of here, which also have reviews, but there's tons of courses, right? So an offer has many courses, and a course has many reviews. So where were we? Here. We're fixing our select statement. So we joined to courses, and then we joined courses to reviews. Okay, we can call it R for reviews. In this case, it doesn't really matter. At least I don't think it does. So now that we have this select statement, first I'm going to explain why I did a left join. If you don't already know what a left join is, if you don't know what a join is, let me give you the very, very brief explanation. Offers are contained in one database table. Courses are contained in another database table. And what you can do is if you want to gather all of the information from both together, you can join them together. So you can join the two together to get all the information, not only about the offer, but about the courses inside of the offer. You join that data together. Now you can get all the courses that relate to a particular offer. Okay. And then we're joining again to reviews. So we can say, hey, don't just get me information about the offer, but get me all the courses inside of that offer, and then get me all the reviews inside of all the courses inside of the offer, right? Get me all the reviews inside of all the courses inside of the offer. Okay, so that's what a join is. Why did I do left join? Left join says if you don't have any courses related to the offer, don't worry about it. In other words, it will still return information about the offer. Okay, so you'll get information back about the offer. You just won't get any information about a course because there are no courses related to that offer. Okay, if I had done a regular join like this, what would happen is this would actually return nothing. If an offer had no courses inside of it, or even if a course had no reviews inside of it, so if it was a brand new course with no reviews, then it would return no offer. So even though there should be an active offer, if you had this offer that was active and it should be displayed here on or rather previously on the home page, we're not on the home page. I need to click here to go to the home page, and that takes a while. But that would mean if the offer is active but doesn't have any reviews, it would still not appear in the marketplace. So that's not the functionality. It wouldn't appear here, right? So I'm sure I have courses somewhere like, this cryptocurrency mining course. This one has no reviews on it, but it's still appearing on the page, right? So that's why I'm using a left join here. That's why it would work. So that's why you want to use a left join. When you still want to have data returned back, even if there's nothing to join to, you use a left join. Okay. One more word I'm going to put in here. Left join. I can't remember if it's after or before, and it's fetch. What fetch will do is the fetch word is not a SQL word. The fetch word is, oh, look, it automatically reboots my server. The fetch word is used for JPA, the Java Persistence API. It's what will populate the courses physically into the Java objects inside of the list. Okay, so in other words, this is going to allow me to not have to refetch all of this information later, and hopefully this will fix my performance issue. But there's only one way to find out for sure. So let's go back and reload the home screen, and it'll hit my breakpoint, hopefully. I still see a bunch of select statements, but that was before we got into this place. So there's clearly another issue with another bunch of select statements that I need to fix. But hopefully the list of offers inside of here will have the appropriate data that I need, such that we don't have to do another select statement to fetch all the data from reviews. If it does still fetch, then, oh, good. See, nothing came out in the console, right? So for those of you who joined the stream late, that right there that I did before and hit F6 and went to this line 101 in terms of debugging, that produced a whole bunch of SQL statements. So if I hit play and go to the next one and F6 through there, there's no more SQL statements. So that means that we properly fetched the data beforehand. Okay, so I can disable my breakpoints and let it play, and the page refreshes. So there's still a performance fix I need to do. Oh, but look at the side effect. Look at the side effect. Okay. So wasn't anticipating this, but this is obvious to me now that I see what I see in front of me, why this is happening. We're getting a bunch of duplicates. So we need to not return a list of offers, but rather we need to have a set of offers. But before I dive into that little bug that we've just introduced, let's hit the refresh button. And previously it took about 7-ish seconds to load this page. Let's see how long it takes now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, so it's a little bit quicker, right? We shaved maybe 2-ish seconds off. Although my previous count could have been wrong. Maybe it took 10 seconds to load before. So, it's definitely faster. So that's good. There's still all these that are happening. I need to figure out why these are happening. But more importantly, let's fix the bug that we just introduced, which is the duplicates galore. So the duplicates are happening because of the fact that the offers being returned from our query. So previously, if I hit Control Z to undo all of our new code, let me go back to where we were. Previously, when we did this, get me all the offers where they're give me all the active offers. This will return a list of offers, and this would be a unique list of offers because that's just naturally going to be unique because we're just getting all the offers from the offer table. But then we introduce a join to, or a left join to courses. So now what's going to happen is it's not going to return one row for every offer. It's going to return multiple rows if you have more than one course inside of a single offer. So my Coders Campus offer has 18 courses in it, so we're going to get 18 rows. But then we're doing another left join on reviews. So what that's going to do is that's going to multiply that again by how many reviews every single course has within the, so you get a lot of duplicates. So the fix is we don't want a list of offers. We want a set of offers. Set means unique. And hopefully, let me stop my server from rebooting because we still have to do some code fix. Hopefully, an offer object, when we have a set of anything, the object in the set should have a way of telling us if there's a duplicate or not. In other words, we need to override the equals and hash code methods. So let's see if offer overrides equals and hash code. If I'm worth my salt, I would have done it. Yes. So equals and hash code are overridden. What it's doing is it's checking for the ID. It looks for the offer ID to tell if we have a duplicate or not. Okay, in order to make it to know if we have a unique object or not. So good, that will work. Just saying set of offers, that should fix the problem of duplicates. So that's great. Now let me go back to where this guy was being called. Control Shift G will search. And I know that now it's going to cause a problem because I'm saying here that I want a list of offer back from this method, but this method returns a set of offers. So set is not list, so it's upset. Well, I can just change it to set, and that will solve that problem. But then it breaks over here because the get offer ratings wants a list of offers. So it's going to change this to a set, but then that's going to break other places. It's annoying. It's going to break over here. So these offers need to be not a list, but a set. And then I'm doing this quick because this is not, I don't want to dive into all this. I'll do collectors.toSet. There we go. So, okay. that should fix the issue of all the duplicates. Let's find out. Reboot our server. Come back here. Refresh the page. It's not done booting up the server yet. Still booting up, still booting up. Okay. Refresh the page. There you go. It's hitting those SQL statements that I need to figure out where those are coming from. Boom. So there we go. Now we don't have duplicates anymore. Right? So those are all unique offers now on the screen. Fantastic. So we're back to sort of normal because now we fixed somewhat of a performance issue. It can load the page a little bit quicker. Still takes a little while, but definitely faster than before. So now we need to see where the heck are all these guys coming from, all these select statements. I thought I had put a breakpoint right at the root path here, and I thought I had isolated the actual issue. So, but anyway, let me clear the console. Let me refresh the page again. So yeah, there's no SQL statements. We're at the very root here. I say go, F6, F6. So that one is hitting. Interesting. So find active offers. Oh, it has the left outer join to authorities? So there's another join that it has to do in order to load what it is I want to load. So, okay. Step one is let's pretty this up. So I'm going to copy this one example, one SQL, one line of SQL, because they're all kind of repeated for a while. Yeah, they're all the same. So what I do to make it pretty is, well, you can do two things. You could go into your MySQL workbench, or you could just use an online SQL formatter. So I go SQL formatter, I Google for a SQL formatter, and here you go, instant SQL formatter. Paste your code there and say format. So then it just shows you a nicer.
Here's what I found on the web.
Google is trying to tell me things. It just tells you, it just shows you a nicer, in a nicer way, what's up. Now, you guys probably can't see this very well because it's, here, let me zoom in. Hopefully that's bigger code or bigger text for you. So, yeah, this is now a little bit nicer. So from users, it has to join to authorities and to user connection for social. Why does it have to do that though? Why does it have to get users where user ID equals question mark? What are we getting? What is this? We're getting user data. We're getting the associated authority data and the social. So display name, all this stuff. Why would we need to get all of this stuff from the find all active offers? That's the beauty of these live streams. This is completely raw. This is not rehearsed. You're now going to see me have to rack my brain and figure out what's going on here. So let's look at the query above. So the query above should be the query that I wrote in right here. It should be a representation of this query. So if I go to the instant SQL formatter and let me open a new tab and grab this SQL again. I'm going to check out MySQL. So is there any mention of users in here, right? So here's our left join to, well, it has to go through offer course because that's a join table, but I don't want to get into that. That's the beauty of JPQL, the Java persistence querying language that we were using here. This 4 lines turns into many, many lines, and it maps everything for us. So it's convenient to not have to write all this out ourselves. Anyway, join. So select all that from offer, join to offer course, and then to course, and then to reviews where active equals 1. Okay, so that's what I expected to see. That is good. The question is, why is it then having to hit all the user information? So let me think. Let me try to also join to the user table. with our own left join because it's doing the same select statement over and over and over again, and it's trying to get information from the users table. Okay, so maybe we just need to get some user information. So where is the user in this whole cacophony of domain objects? So does an offer have a user? I can't remember anymore. Suggested offers, trial. Let me just look for the word user in here. No, so an offer does not have a user. Does a course have a user? Yes, this is the user who created the course. Are there any other user objects on here? No. Let me just check and see how is courses mapped here. Okay. It's mapped as lazy, so okay. I don't know why we'd have to also get the user information. Okay, hold on. Maybe no, because it's only hitting, it's on this line of code that it hits all the other it's on this line of code that it also does the select statements for all the users as well. I don't get that. Obviously once I figure it out, I'll understand it and it'll make perfect sense. But right now it does not make perfect sense. Let me try this. I don't know if this will work, but I think all I need really is the reviews. So let me not try to fetch courses. Maybe that's causing a problem. And let me just make sure that that's true what I just said, that we don't actually need to fetch the courses. Although we might need to, because I go in here and I say get courses stream, and then I get the reviews from the courses. So actually, yeah, I will need to fetch the courses because we stream the courses and then get the reviews from those. So, so let's do a left join c.user because the course has a single user. I don't feel like that's going to solve the problem, but let me just left join to user as well. Who knows? So now it's going to automatically reboot my server for me. Let's see if this fixes it. So for those of you joining the stream now, what I'm struggling with and trying to fix, when I load the front page of my, I have an application here, it just needs to load up, my Professor platform, which is the platform I use to host courses, and students can log in and take their courses and watch all the videos, and teachers can use it to manage courses and manage students, etc., etc. The platform, when you visit the front page, is very slow. It's got a performance issue. So I'm trying to fix that performance issue, and I'm currently struggling with one of the SQL statements. So yeah, this is the what you call it, platform itself. But I saw it's still going and doing all those select statements. So let me clear the console, refresh the page, and see. I think this is the same select statement as before. Yeah, it looks the same. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Oh, and then it switches to, oh, okay. Well, maybe this happens later. Sorry, I'm trying to think if this gives me a hint here. The SQL statements change at the end to other things. I'm not sure if that gives me a hint as to why. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm not crazy. Refresh this. Hit F6. We hit this find all active offers and say go. It does one select and then does a bunch more. Okay, so clearly this is where the problem is happening. It does a bunch of selects, right? Yeah. So why? Why is that causing all this fuss? Why does it have to load additional user information specifically related to not just users, but the authorities for those users and the social? So if I have a way to so that people can log in with the social platforms like Facebook or Twitter. So if you're a teacher, you can log in with those. So that's what those are. It's loading that as well. What am I missing? Offer repository. That's the standard. There's nothing special about the way we're creating this. And there's nothing special about the way we are creating our select statement here. Select O from offer. So left joining to the user from courses didn't fix anything. I thought maybe I would need to do that in order to avoid all this stuff. Unless from there I need to, do all the rest of the silly joins, right? Unless I need to say, left join u dot, go to the user object. So u dot, what was it that it also loaded? Oh, interesting. User has reviews. Is that why this is happening? I wonder if that's why this is happening. Some sort of weird circular reference. Okay. So left join user u. What else does it do? It needs user and then authority. So a user has an authority. I don't want to get into what that means because that's beyond what we need right now. So authorities dot authorities I just keep using single letters, which are not helpful in this case, but anyway. And then user social. So where does that come from? That comes from left outer join authorities on user ID to authority, and then left outer join user connection on user. So this is another thing that user has. A user has a social connections. User connection? I think so. Yes. Okay. I don't know why I have to do this, but let's just see what happens. Okay. What's up, Big Leo? Ugh. I was hoping that this is going to be a lot more straightforward, but hey, it's always nice to see a programmer who has experience struggle, isn't it? Does it bring you satisfaction? With 13 years of experience, I don't understand what's happening in my own code that I wrote. Okay. So I'm rebooting my server because I made changes to the database or the Java code, so therefore we need to reboot the server. Let's refresh the page. I guess we'll go through the debug. Okay, so this is where the magic happens. That's looking somewhat good as long as it doesn't do that. Shoot. It had me for a while. I thought I had solved it. Now it's just going nuts. Okay, so let's look at the actual offers. So let's go to like each of the offers and just see where does it have to load this, potentially load this user information, right? So an offer has a course. And check out the course here. Oops. An offer has, I know this is going to be small for you guys to read. I apologize. I can't make this font any bigger, unfortunately. I'll just have to say out loud what I'm doing. So going to the offer, digging into a single offer, going into the courses that offer has. And then from here, okay, interesting. So I clicked on user and then it did a select statement. What select statement did it do? Is it doing the one that? Yes. Okay. So it's trying to, for some reason, it's trying to also load the users related to the courses. Why is it doing that though? Why do I need that? Why is it loading the users for the courses? So show me the course. I thought we had looked into the users and how they were. So they're mapped with lazy and cascade type persist. So if it's lazily mapped, that should mean that it won't eagerly fetch it like it just did, or like it has been doing. And user back to courses is also lazy. So I don't understand why it's forcing itself to grab the user information. So let me see, left join. So courses, I'm fetching the courses. Let me just say fetch the users as well to populate users into courses. And do I care about the authorities? I don't think so. Let me just try to save that and stop the server and reboot. So we'll fetch the users along with the courses and the reviews. I don't know why we need the users. There must be a reason. Really the best format video. Thank you. This is, again, I wasn't expecting to struggle this much, but hey, Trevor is back. Yes, I've been deep in the weeds with this whole pandemic thing and with having a 2.5-year-old son and also working a full-time job and managing a boot camp full of students. And I finally managed to get through the first cohort of students in my first boot camp. So now there's a bit of breathing room for me so I can go back to doing stuff like this, which is for me really fun. I love live interactive coding sessions. Okay, so to recap, we just changed our offer, our find all active offers method to include a join fetch with a course user. So a user related to a course. So fetching it should load in all of the data that we get from the SQL query into the Java object. So the course Java object for each of the offers, each of the courses in the offer, each of the courses will be physically populated with the user information inside of the Java object. So hopefully that will solve our problem. So let me hit F6. It's going to do the first line of code, and then what we're going to hope for is that it does not load any more stuff and then goes to line 80 without having to load any more stuff. If it does, then we'll just do join fetches all around, and yeah, it's still doing stuff. Okay. So I guess we have to join fetch everything. So let me stop the code, go back, and we'll just join fetch everything. To me, this is starting to become a little bit ridiculous, but if it fixes the problem, then we're good. The issue with doing it this way, although I think I had to do it anyway, let's say the issue with doing it this way is you could potentially run into memory issues where you're having to load all of this data into all of these Java objects and load them into memory and hold them in memory. Can cause memory issues. But I think it had to do it anyway. I think it was just lazily loading everything anyway. And it was just doing it was doing it in a very inefficient manner. So it was getting the job done, but it was doing it in a very inefficient manner. So, yeah, I don't believe that this will introduce a memory issue because, like I said, it's loading everything anyway. What it will do is improve the performance because it shouldn't take 7 or 10 or whatever seconds to load one single page. Okay. Oops. So I just hit F6 on it. So again, hope that it just goes to line 80 in debug mode and does not really load anything else in SQL. I wait with bated breath. Oh, come on. Oh, trial and error, ladies and gentlemen. What is this doing? And why does this seem a little different than last time? That seems like a lot of extra. Is this the same query? Looks like it. Left outer join user connection. Left outer join to authorities. From users. See, now this doesn't make sense because I am fetching everything. So I don't know why, like, it shouldn't have to load all this data one by one because I've literally told it to fetch that data. Sorry, my wife is texting me. My son is almost up, so I'm going to have to wrap this up soon. I'm literally telling it to join fetch everything. Get me the user associated with each of the courses. Within that user, get me the authorities, fetch the authorities for that user, and fetch me the user social connections for that user, and also get me the reviews. Now, a course's reviews, show me those. Reviews. A review, that goes back to user as well. I wonder, is it loading it there? Let's see. I think that's our bug. That's our problem right here. So let me think. A one-to-many association in Hibernate is the default behavior of a one-to-many or many-to-one association going to be an eager fetch? My only guess that I can think of is yes. So this is the one that it's eagerly fetching. The problem is I don't know if that's important, if there's a reason why I have it eagerly fetching here. Okay, so here's what we can do. The first step is forget about loading the user for the course, because that's not where this problem is happening. It's happening in the review level. So let me think. So let me move I'm gonna alt up arrow, and that's gonna move the reviews line of code up, so you can go up and down. See, I can move this really cool. Alt up and down, at least in Eclipse anyway, you can do it. So I'll put that back up here. So we'll join courses, join reviews, but then the reviews are eagerly fetching users, I believe. So instead of saying c.user, left join fetch, I'm going to say r.user. Because reviews, or the review object, the review object has the user there. So I believe that's where it's coming from, which would make a lot more sense in my mind. I couldn't explain why it was happening before, but that one makes more sense. u.authorities, u.usersocial. So let's just test this now. Let's stop and reboot. And let me text my wife and explain why I just said no to her. I'm live streaming. That's clearly a reason why I'm not able to help with my son. He wakes up around 2:30. I tried to get one of these in last time before 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. But anyway. Okay, here we go. Hold on to your butts, as what's his name says, Samuel Jackson says from Jurassic Park? I don't know. Hold on to your butts. Show me the money. Yes! Whew. Okay, so that's the fix. That took an hour. Okay, so that's much better. Now, I believe, well, we'll see. Let me hit play and see if there's any other, let me let it play through. So there's definitely, there's more selects that happen at the end here, but it's going to be the same concept. So again, this took like 7 or 10 seconds to load before. So if I hit F5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, hit the breakpoint. I would have counted all the way to 100 or more. Let me disable the breakpoints. Let it refresh. So 1. Oh yeah, See how much faster that is? Not even a full second now, and it loads up. So again, from like 7 to 10 seconds all the way down to less than a second now it takes. And all this stuff is still the same, right? That's the whole point. This view hasn't changed. Functionality shouldn't change. Like if I click on this, it should be able to go into that course and load everything up. Now, when I clicked on Coders Campus, you can see it's taking a long time to load this page now because the same issue appears in there as well. So I need to do a better job. At least Trevor from 5 years ago needed to do a better job of analyzing these problems, seeing where all these select statements are happening. Because I'm sure if I go back to my log, you're going to see just a plethora of select statements, and oftentimes they're identical, these select statements, right? And that's a smoking gun that's telling you that you have a lot of lazy loading going on that you're not handling very well. So the way to address this is like I did, is to go in and write better queries that will fetch the stuff that you need such that it doesn't have to be lazily fetched later. Because it's a performance hit when you do it that way. So yeah, if I go back to the home page, boom, it loads in like less than a second. Cool. So I think that's where I'll stop. Hopefully you guys have learned enough in this hour lesson. I'm sure I'll be back again in the future to probably do the same exercise. So we can go through the same, you can do repetition and do the same exercise. And hopefully the more we repeat this, the more you'll be able to identify these kinds of performance issues in your own code or in the code. You know, if you're working right now professionally, you can identify these problems and be able to solve them yourself. So yeah, we'll probably do that next time when we dive into clicking on one of these courses. I assume clicking on the databases course, because I know it doesn't have much information in there. It's probably quicker to load that one. Yeah, so that was pretty quick, right? Didn't take very long because it didn't have to do a whole bunch of select statements, a whole bunch of lazy fetches. If you go back, the Coders Campus course is made up of the Coders Campus offer is made up of multiple courses. So, and with 98 reviews. So if I click on Coders Campus, it has to do a lot of select statements. So you can see all these select statements it has to do, right? Now this one's a bit of a mix of select statements, so they're not all completely identical. So maybe it will be a little bit more difficult to solve because it looks like there's more complexity there. It's not just all a whole huge dump of the same SQL statements. But there's definitely some similarities. Like I see, so it's loading up lessons and stuff. And so I think all of this can probably be addressed. And yeah, this one, so this is the same issue as before. So this is the reviews. I bet you this is the reviews. Anyway, I'll stop there, and thank you for joining. If you just tuned in now, you know this is the end, but you can always rewind to the beginning of the live stream. So hopefully you got a lot out of this, and hopefully I'll do another live stream maybe tomorrow. If not, hey, take care of yourselves. Happy learning, and bye for now.